Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show. It is August the 26th.
Yes, it is.
I'm pretty sure. August the 26th, Monday.
Yeah.
We are glad that you're here. We have all kinds of news to relay to you today. Some of it from Amanda. We have recaps from last week when I was out on the left coast.
I'm sorry, Blake.
I went out to visit my daughter in LA. Thanks for covering on Thursday.
You're welcome.
It is amazing that you can fly in 4.5 hours, 5 hours from Jacksonville direct to LA. Breeze Airways was a breeze.
Breeze Airways?
Breeze Airways. They're new. I'm telling you, the plane was new. The staff was great. It was a piece of cake.
All right.
There's more room on the plane than on normal planes.
Easy breezy?
It was easy breezy. And I Breeze Airway is not paying me as a social influencer. This is my boy, I would love to get free airline tickets out there because my daughter's going to be there for a little while longer, which means I'll be back out again.
All right.
We stayed at an amazing hotel in Santa Monica called The Proper, which was really, really cool.
Good, true, and proper?
It was very proper. Trust me, it was proper. And staff was amazing.
Good.
My only kind of comment was some of the prices were a little proper.
Very proper.
Very proper, but the food was amazing and the staff was great and it made up for all of that part of it. And
did they do high tea?
They were printing money when you ordered food.
from your wallet.
They were printing money, but it was really, really good. It was amazing. It was super fun. I sent you guys a fashion don't, which we're going to add to tomorrow's show. So if you hang in tomorrow, this is a teaser.
Should I edit his face?
Yes, we're going to edit the face out. We're not going to show that, but we're going to have a new segment on Tuesdays. Would Troy wear it?
All right.
So would Troy wear it? You guys tune in tomorrow for the first inaugural episode. Davey, give me a couple more outfits.
If you have any outfits you want to discuss whether Troy would wear, email them to MikeDavisShow@gmail.com.
Yes, if you see somebody wearing something and you want us to vote whether Troy would wear that, email it to
MikeDavisShow@gmail.com.
MikeDavisShow@gmail.com. So we'll get that done. Yeah, so we're going to have a lot of fun today. We got 5 questions. We actually have 6 today. We're
so many.
overachieving today.
Oh, we haven't had it in a while.
We have not. I feel guilty about that. We're overcompensating for something. And tomorrow is movie day. For those of you that have not watched Spaceballs.
It's your last chance.
It's your last chance to watch it. Or you can be like me and watch it 2 hours before the show starts and hope that your computer doesn't glitch. But I'm probably going to watch tonight and get in trouble for watching that tonight on date night with
Monday is my longest day. So I've been planning cocktails and Spaceballs tonight.
All right.
I'm just going to tune out, turn my brain off.
Yep.
Make money.
All right. Hebert, Kresge & Associates. They're a full-service, local CPA firm with a team of skilled professionals dedicated to providing top levels of service in the areas of tax compliance, planning for businesses, individuals, estates, and trusts. They can also do audits, reviews, and other accounting services. If you need a business valuation, a forensic analysis, or litigation support, you can reach them at 904-460-0747 or online at HebertKresgeCPA.com. Great folks. Bill and Ken are amazing, and all of their staff. I've got a meeting with them later this week.
They're fantastic people.
Yes, they are.
Oh, I'll have to tell you.
I'm
Remind me about the reads. Oh, wow.
Oh.
My shot is off.
I've got an O, Amanda.
Yes. So remind me about the reads on Thursday. All right. Let's step into the world of support and healing with Epic Behavioral Healthcare. For over 50 years, Epic has been a beacon of hope in our community, providing compassionate care for those touched by substance abuse or mental health disorders. Whether you're a kid, teen, adult, couple, or family, Epic is here to lend a helping hand. With a range of programs tailored to meet diverse needs, Epic offers accessible solutions for everyone. From their walk-in access center to their mobile response van, their inpatient detoxification to outpatient counseling, Epic provides comprehensive care every step of the way. Their services include psychiatric evaluations, medication management, medication-assisted treatment, care coordination, peer support, suicide prevention training, parenting education, and much more. You can add this section, so I will. But Epic's impact doesn't stop there.
All right, Joe. Way to go, Ron Burgundy.
I did. But we need to highlight that or something.
Okay, Ron.
But Epic's impact doesn't stop there. They are proud to be the heart of St. Augustine, coordinating beloved community events like Taste of St. Augustine, the Flower and Garden Expo, and Ancient City Kids Day. It's their honor to serve our community, offering help and hope to those in need. Join them on this journey of empowerment and transformation. Together, they can make a difference. Epic Behavioral Healthcare, where compassion meets commitment. I almost nailed that one. I almost nailed it.
You were so close.
So close.
You were
Parentheses, it's a thing.
Yes.
Carmelo's Pizzeria and 123 Burger House. Join the Tringali family for dinner tonight. These restaurants are locally owned. They're operated by a beloved St. Augustine family. Carmelo's Pizzeria was voted best pizza 9 years in a row. New York style brick oven pizza. They also serve salad, subs, wings, and more. 123 Burger House was voted best burger 3 years running. Burgers, chicken, wings, salads, authentic wood-fired pizza, ice cream, or dessert. Both restaurants offer dine-in, takeout, and delivery through Bite Squad and Grubhub. Join the Tringali family and all their staff for dinner tonight. They can't wait to see you.
All right, Salomon Services. It's the premier place for personal training in St. Augustine. They have both youth and adult training classes. They also have small group strength and fitness development classes. If you have been injured, they can help you recover, get back on the field or the court in better shape, stronger and quicker. They have a state-of-the-art center where they do all of this amazing training with both indoor and outdoor turf areas. And every single one of their coaches is certified through the National Strength and Conditioning Association. Give them a call today, 904-461-9945, or visit their website, solomonservices.com. They're great folks. I'll be there in the morning with an amazing crew to work out. That's probably one of the coolest things. Not only the coach is amazing and the staff, but Sal's clientele is some of the most fun people to work out with.
Yeah.
Just really, really good people. All right. There's a lot that went on this weekend while I was gone.
Yeah.
Some news broke.
Announcements happened while we were on the air, so we missed it.
Yeah. So if there were some amazing announcements, of which you are going to do a couple of reads. And I am going to explain to people why I'm not doing the reads. And if you're interested in what happened on Saturday, go check the 904 Now feed. Pete has an update on what happened Saturday in front of the state park. But give us an update on what's going on.
All right. St. John's Commission Chair blasts St. Anastasia State Park plan. All right. Let's see. We got double-sided printing, so many turning of the pages. All right, with the primary election just completed, one thing that every politician and most residents seem to agree on is that they do not like the state's plan to add a hotel to Anastasia State Park. Since information was released a week ago about a 350-unit lodge, pickleball courts, and disc golf course at Anastasia State Park, proposed by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, seems like the opposite of what they're doing. Sorry, my editorializing. As part of the 2024-2025 Great Outdoors Initiative, the response from St. Johns County residents has been loud and without much ambiguity. They don't want the park messed with. Sorry, that wasn't my bad. That was their typo. The politicians have responded in kind. The latest in St. Johns County Commission Chair Sarah Arnold. She's issued an official press release through the county communications department on Sunday. Quote, the state of Florida has not contacted St. Johns County with any details of this project, Arnold said in her statement. The quote continues, parks are for people and not about projects for profit. Our Board of County Commissioners has been consistent in their views on natural resource conservation and protection. This proposed project is absolutely contrary to our county board's vision and priorities. The quote continues, as a board, we will seriously address this proposed project with all available recourse. Anastasia State Park is a state-owned recreation area inside the city limits of the city of St. Augustine. It may involve a review by its staff and its city commission. End quote. The public meeting about the proposal was scheduled Tuesday at First Coast Technical College. However, FDEP said that the meeting has been rescheduled, I wonder why, for the week of September 2nd as a new venue is sought due to the overwhelming interest in the 2024-2025 Great Outdoors Initiative. Don't you like that wording? Sounds lovely. Earlier, both St. Augustine Mayor Nancy Sykes-Klein and St. Augustine Beach Mayor Dylan Rumrell, the mayor, released statements via social media. It's simple, Sykes-Klein said in a statement, quote, I will not support any part of this proposal for Anastasia State Park, which is located in the city of St. Augustine city limits, end quote. The mayor was among the crowd of people gathered Sunday at the entrance of the state park to protest the changes. Earlier, the city sent out an official statement without direct attribution. Quote, the project will require a review by city staff for compliance with the city's comprehensive plan and various sections of the municipal code of ordinances, end quote. Okay, quote continues. If the state of Florida is required to obtain approval for aspects of this project by the city's planning and zoning board, city commission, or any other city board, then the state of Florida will apply to the necessary board to obtain these permits. The city of St. Augustine respects a fair and transparent process and does not prejudge this development proposal before the state has the opportunity to present this project to the community during the defined public hearing process. To do so may jeopardize the integrity of the process and result in unintended consequences, end quote. Rumwell posted on social media, quote, I'm shocked and concerned about this and will do everything I can to get all information available before the August 27th meeting, end quote. Other state parks have been selected by FDEP for improvements like golf courses. These include Jonathan Dickinson State Park, Topsail Hill Preserve State Park, Grayton Beach State Park, Camp Helen State Park, Hillsborough River State Park, Honeymoon Island State Park, and Dr. Von Measel Eula Johnson State Park. There has been ample pushback in these communities as well. In fact, there was so much negative feedback that the group behind a plan to build golf courses in Jonathan Dickinson Park said in a release Sunday that it was dropping out. Nice. We sought improvements that would invite families to enjoy the great game of golf while honoring minority veterans and enhancing the natural beauty of Florida's beloved environment, said the Tuskegee Dunes Foundation. We have received clear feedback that Jonathan Dickinson State Park is not the right location. We did not understand the local community landscape and appreciate the clarity. We will not pursue building in the beloved Jonathan Dickinson State Park. So it turns out that people have a voice and that voice can be heard. All right, we've got
That's
one.
okay. You don't have to read that one because that was embedded in the other one. And that
All right.
article came from the Jacksonville Business Journal that
All
you
right.
just read from. So we're going to give them credit
Okay.
for writing a very good article.
Nice.
I am not commenting because I am a member of the Planning and Zoning Board. And as the letter from the city said, it needs to be a fair process if there is going to be a process. So I don't have any comments.
I have comments. This is stupid. Y'all are stupid. Don't do this. Don't. Just don't. Leave. Go somewhere else.
I have no comment.
He has no comment.
I have
do.
no comment. Right now, I'm like the husband where the wife is arguing about something and he doesn't want to be drawn in.
Yep. I'm not even looking at him because he's not here. I'm talking to you. This is stupid. Don't do this.
Not getting drawn
Idiotic.
in. All right.
Oy.
We will do updates on this. Amanda will do updates. It will not be on my update page, but it will be on Amanda's update page.
Yep.
So, yes.
Me.
All right. Thursday, I left. Thursday night, there was a convention. So I'm dying to get Blake's take on all of this because I know he watched it wall to wall. I know that he was breathlessly waiting on Beyonce to perform.
So I can tell you what they said when we started the show on Thursday.
What did they say?
They said, what I can say about the DNC is they have better celebrities and better entertainment.
And that's great because celebrities do so much to help all of us in our daily lives.
And we
Sarcasm
all know,
added at the end.
we all know that you're not allowed to become famous in movies and TV show and music and writing books unless you have thoroughly studied systems of government, economic systems, philosophy, theology, world history, American history. So, you know, they're all very well informed and they should definitely influence our opinions. Although I watched on and off the DNC.
God bless you.
There were some faces that were like, okay, that person's relevant. Like, I get how they could like maybe sway some people. The vast majority of the famous people that were there were not the hip famous people you would want to be there. And so Blake was like, oh, did you hear? We're teasing that, or the DNC, they're teasing that, you know, it could be Taylor Swift, it could be Beyonce, that could be opening for Kamala Harris. And so I'm just like waiting. Okay, who's the big luminary of Hollywood and the celebrity glitterati who's going to be the one to introduce Kamala Harris? We get off the show. He gets another update. Okay, well, maybe it's Taylor Swift, Beyonce. It could be George W. Bush. Like, that would be a huge coup to have a Republican president introduce us. So, like, I'm waiting. I get home. I'm watched Bollocks. I get home, and I'm just waiting for who's going to introduce Kamala. I'm like, it's getting late. And there's this old white dude that's like so stiff and trying to be cool, but not. And I don't even know who he was. He was completely forgettable. And then it was Kamala Harris talking. And I was like, I've been watching this thing for hours. There's nobody there that you would consider an A-lister.
Mm-hmm.
Not on that main stage leading up. So, hey, Boomer. So yeah, so that's why I asked in the group chat with Davey and you, like, how did y'all feel about the DNC teasing this big celebrity and then nobody was there?
It reminds me of a joke Ronald Reagan told. As you're telling this story, the Dems talking about it, right? So it's a woman who went to get her wedding dress and the assistant helping her get her wedding dress. And Ronald Reagan told this joke, and some of you may have heard it, and I will not tell it anywhere as good as the Gipper used to tell it, so forgive me and work with me.
He had a gift.
He had a gift. He was called the great communicator for a reason. I work here on the 904 now because Pete has charity in his heart for me. So this woman goes to get her wedding dress. She walks in, the assistant says, "How can I help you?" She says, "Well, I'm looking for a white wedding dress. It's my fourth wedding."
Okay.
And the woman looks at her. And of course, this is a joke told in the 80s. So you got to kind of go back in time a little bit to get some meaning and some context. Those of you that are my age and a little bit older than Amanda, I'll get that. And the assistant kind of looks at her and says, "Are you sure you want a white dress?" And she says, "Oh, no, I definitely want a white dress." She says, "Well, I don't mean to be rude, but that's usually reserved for someone who
has been unmarried.
Right? And so she says, "Oh, no, I'm perfectly pure." And she said, "But you've been married 3 times. She said, "Well, I can explain this. My first husband, we was so excited upon leaving the reception that on our way to the hotel, he had a heart attack and he died."
Oh, no.
So we never consummated the marriage.
So sad.
The second marriage, she was leaving the wedding, and she and her second husband got in such a horrible, awful fight that they left, split up, and broke up before they ever made it to the hotel and never spoke again.
That's awkward.
The third wedding, or the third time she got married, it lasted 4 years before she divorced. And the woman's looking at her, and she says, "Oh, he was a Democrat. He would just sit on the end of the bed and tell me how good it was going to be." So that's what you guys got on Thursday night, is the Democrats telling you how good it was going to be. But it wasn't.
It wasn't. And so, I mean, no shocker, I'm biased and I don't like Kamala Harris. That's kind of what trivia was about. Sort of. Not really. I didn't take her out of context. But like, it was a nothing burger of a speech.
That would pretty much be her career.
Exactly.
So you see summed up her career. So she should get credit for summing up her career.
You needed her to like come out of the gate. That's the first major speech that she's going to have. You need her to come out of the gate and disprove all the haters, right? She did not. She fumbled the bag, baby. I mean, okay, great. You had a childhood and you love your mother. Hopefully most of us do. Super. I mean, that was about it. And she took credit for things that other people did. Like nothing. There was no plan. And kind of made the joke to you guys, like, when you're having a hard time paying your bills, when you're having a hard time making ends meet, I don't give a hoot that she played chess. I don't care how good a chess player you are. You haven't been a great vice president. And you just did not give me any reason to change my mind at all. You didn't tell me how you're going to fix. It was like, okay, we did an amazing job. Joe has done an amazing job. We love Joe. We work together. Then backstory about her childhood. And then I'm going to fix everything that Joe promised he was going to fix when he ran for president. But he did a great job, but it still needs to get fixed. The cognitive dissonance there is not. Not happening for
There
me.
were a lot of, I didn't watch any of the DNC. One, I was
No?
busy with family, and it's earlier out there. In
You were in
LA.
the land of Democrats. They didn't
I
pipe it
I
into
loved
your
LA. I
bloodstream.
have stories about LA, and I loved LA. It was very nice. The weather was beautiful. I can understand why Southern California is such an attraction to so many people. There's too many people there for me, but it was absolutely wonderful. It was as if Kamala Harris was running against Donald Trump. That Donald Trump was the current sitting president, and the last 3.5 years didn't happen.
Yeah.
The last 3.5 years were not the fault of Democrats. One of the pundits, and it was one on CNN, and I don't know his name, pointed out a very inconvenient fact. 12 of the last 16 years, Democrats have controlled the White House.
And Joe Biden has been a part of that.
And Joe Biden was a part of every bit of that. 8 years as vice president, 3 years making money in the private sector. Make of that what you will. Thanks, Hunter, for the hand up. And then 3.5 years as a president that was so competent, he was removed from the ballot by his own party, right? That's the competency that he had. So Democrats running against their own record and blaming Trump for it is really interesting because Donald Trump was only the president for 4 years, the last year of which was marred by a crazy virus that was unleashed on the world. And so
I feel like Trump really only had 3 years of a
the
presidency.
first year was a whole Russia year.
Yeah.
The first year was him denying that he was an agent of a foreign government, right?
Yeah.
So he had two. So you managed to mess up the last year and the first year of Trump's presidency. But in spite of that, we had a much better economic record than what we currently have today. For those of you that, kind of watch this, Jon Stewart, if you go look him up after the show on Rumble.
Who's that dude?
Jon Stewart. He used to have a show. He had an amazingly funny take on the DNC.
Oh, yeah?
Bernie Sanders goes up and just completely roasts billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
It's that billionaires are bad and billionaires are this and billionaires are bad and billionaires. Well,
because he's only a millionaire.
He's only a millionaire. He's not a billionaire yet. However, the next speaker they brought up was J.B. Pritzker, who is the governor of Illinois.
Yeah.
Who's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Who spoke. And then you had Tim Walz talk about, we don't need people from Yale.
Yeah.
And then they pointed out all the people from Yale that spoke at the DNC. Right. So it was just, the last joke was the best one. I'm not going there, but if you watch that, it was classic. Michelle Obama's speech. Mom and dad didn't trust rich people. She said that.
So she became a rich person?
Mom and dad didn't trust rich people. And it's like, do you know you live in a house that 99% of the people in this country cannot afford, in an area that 99% of the people would not be welcome?
Which one? Because don't they have they have a Hawaii home? Don't they have a DC home?
Does nobody
don't
vet
they have
these
a Chicago
speeches?
home?
Does nobody vet these speeches?
Well, it just speaks volumes of how dumb the DNC believes Americans are.
Yep.
They think that you can't remember anything past yesterday because this is just, it's insane to me. Like, how do they get elected? And I have been speaking to Democrats that I'm friends with, and they have zero qualms about how Kamala unseated Joe Biden and took the reins, even though she never received a vote, and any of the two...
Never ran.
She never
officially.
ran in this one, but when she ran in 2020, she still never received a vote. Nobody's voted for this woman in the job that she held, like the job she's trying to hold. When she actually ran in a primary, which was 2020, she didn't get any, she quit before the first contest. And now she just rode Joe's coattails and then pushed him off a cliff and took his job. And nobody cares about that.
Honestly, she didn't push him off.
No.
Nancy Pelosi
did.
Pushed him off.
Pelosi and Schumer did.
Nancy Pelosi did.
Which, hilarious. Chuck Schumer's doing a live hit from the floor of the DNC, and Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire photobombs him in costume. It's fantastic.
So one of the most brutal things said about the convention, and I mean this is brutal, This came from Dana Bash.
All right.
She did not intend to brutalize the convention, but she was trying to justify the men at the convention.
The number of men?
No. The type of men in her eyes that were at the convention.
Oh,
You
no.
see, Democrat men don't need Hulk Hogan. They are low T men, and they were just fine with the speeches that were given. She actually said the phrase, they're low T men.
Dana.
They don't need Hulk Hogan.
Dana, darling.
I was like, oh, wow. Did you really? No. You
Outside
didn't
of the
go
big
there.
cities
Yeah.
and deep, deep blue districts, that is not a compliment.
It's not.
That is not a compliment, babe. Do not go into advertising.
No.
That is not your slogan.
No, it was awful. And then I wanted to like send her a
We
message.
have beta males.
I wish I'd send her, how many low T men have you dated? I just,
Oh,
it's like, ouch.
check out women posting their L's. You'll find out that a lot of them are dating.
It was not good. It was not good. There was a saying about reporters because the reporters ate this stuff up.
Oh,
It was
it was electric. The party that wants to end electricity and fossil fuels just
Was
kept
electric.
describing it as electric. It's electric. It just feels electric. Did that speech drive you crazy? It's
don't
electric.
forget joy. It
There's
was just
so much joy.
It was so joy. It was so joy. I don't want joy. I want food on my table that I can afford. The
Can't
joke.
eat joy.
No.
I can't pay my mortgage with joy.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Take that joy,
So
shove it right where the sun don't shine.
our reporters
Mm-hmm.
for the mainstream media, the new stenographers of our age, because they don't ask questions.
No, they don't.
They will ask a tough question if you're a Republican, but if you're a Democrat, they just write down exactly what you say and then regurgitate whatever the talking points are. And there have been great montages over the years of Democrat talking points that have been rolled out.
Oh, yeah.
Rush Limbaugh was the first one to do it. There's a lot of very successful people that have done it afterwards, but they'll come up with a word and they'll use that word. Every single one of them will use it. And it's like, wow. I just would
Weird.
like to see the email one time that shows you the talking point. So, yeah.
Well, so they released that, or there was a whistleblower during the early days of Obama's administration that released that journalists had their own like private chat called Journ-O list.
Yes.
And it was all of the pro-Obama journalists colluding on the internet in like a secret chat room. And we just did nothing with that. We just found out that it was there and who was on it, and just,
Well,
they're
here's-
fine. They
here's-
still have their job.
It's not the journalists on the list. I want to know who the smart people are on there that are giving them the information. Because I don't look at any of those journalists that are there today and think, wow, that's a really intelligent, smart person. And they can think of this themselves.
Yeah.
They can't. They've proven they can't by the lack of depth that they have and the lack of unbiased. You have to be somebody who's a fair person that can think on both sides and have the ability to reason in more than one political kind of thought process. They don't have that.
Yes.
They have no depth in that. And so I want somebody who's smart enough to be able to think on both sides of the argument, to be able to ask questions or argue both sides of an issue. They can't do that. There is no way. If you wanted to, there is an old Star Trek episode, and I know you're a Trekkie, where the robots, the lights on their neck would blink and then they kind of freeze out. Norman was the main guy. Norman was the main one, right? And if you started going up to them and asking them to defend the positions that they defend restricting abortion, you would blow their mind, right? They would not be able to do that. They never thought about what's it like to be on the other side of an argument, and would you frame an argument? How would you discuss that argument? How would you defend that argument? And that's what debate's all about. And they don't have any of that ability. They do not have the ability to. Now, there are people on the right that likewise do not have that ability, but I look at who reports today, and their depth of intelligence is really in the low end of the pool.
Yeah. I mean, who decided it was a great idea to have like an 18-foot IUD outside of the DNC?
I will take.
Which is hilarious because IUDs look like a T, and it was surrounded by low T men.
Low
So
T
there
men,
was
yes.
your high T,
Yes.
was the IUD outside.
Yes.
How much does that cost? Who do you call for an 18-foot inflatable IUD? It's not the Ghostbusters.
It's just not. It's not good. It wasn't a good look. And again, I go back to kind of where we're at right now. I don't see a lot of polling that's coming out right now. Right? Typically, this time of year, there's poll after poll after
Tim
poll
Pool
after
is talking
poll
about
after poll
polls.
after poll after,
Oh, yeah.
and they're not dropping. And there's a reason they're not dropping.
Ain't got enough tea.
Because the media, thank goodness Davey's not here today.
He's in the comments.
Media, he's in the comments, I know. The media wants you to believe that it's a very tight race. And if you don't drop the polls and you don't announce the polls, then it is a very tight race.
Yeah.
And so it gives you the illusion that this is much tighter than what it is. I think when they don't issue the polls the way they used to issue them, or they oversample Democrats in these polls, it just tells you how bad it is. But we're not going to know how bad it is for a few more weeks, if they ever tell us, because they do not want us to know where all this stuff sits. And it's amazing to me because some of the polls I see on Real Clear Politics are months old.
Yeah.
Months. Joe Biden was still in the race. And I'm like, seriously, you haven't done any new polling since then? You don't have any new latest polls at this point in time?
Bobby points out that the campaign is kind of like stores that jack up their prices because they're going out of business and then have a sale. Bobby says that Davey says he loves joy. No politician will define his joy. And I agree. Like, joy comes from God. So like, I got my joy source. I don't need it from an election. I've got it from God. So the politicians, whatever they're calling joy, they can stuff that because I've got my joy.
So at this point in time, the latest on Real Clear Politics has Harris up 1.5 points, which is trailing behind where both Biden and Hillary Clinton were at this point 4 and 8 years ago.
What was the vote swing the last two? Wasn't it like 6 or 7?
It was a pretty good. Trump has been undercounted both times. So as we're talking, I'll give you the opportunity. There's Morning Consult, which is a liberal-leaning polling, CBS, ABC, and Emerson. Pick one, and I'm going to go do a deep dive into it while we're doing the rest of the show and see if I can figure out how many people from each different political party were polled.
What?
Which one? Pick one, because we're going to randomly do this.
Eeny, meeny.
Morning Consult, CBS, ABC, Washington Post, or Emerson. All are left-leaning polling organizations.
I'm going to go Emerson.
Emerson.
There's
I
tape
don't
on this
know
mic and
why
it's eating my
you
hair.
picked Emerson.
Why not?
So generally, if you will go into the poll, you can go dig
Size.
and you could go find the samples. If they don't give you the sample information,
Yeah.
if they don't give you the percentage of the people that are Republicans, Democrats, and independents, then they way oversampled Democrats and they don't want you to know what that is. So
what is Harris leading in the Emerson poll?
she's up 2 in the Emerson poll.
Okay.
Let me go see. She's up 4,
All right.
50 to 46. And the other place, if they overpoll in cities. So if you're overpolling urban voters, you have a tendency to get that more more Democrat. So it's really, I mean, give me a minute to kind of look through this methodology. Let's see if they give us.
So while you're doing that, we had.
It says that the data sets were weighted by gender, education, race, age, party affiliation, and region based on 2024 likely voter modeling. Turnout modeling is based on U.S. Census parameters and voter registration. It's important to remember. So they're not giving you the data.
They're not giving you the data. So,
well, they didn't there. A really good poll gives you all the data, and we're digging. Mike Davis digs in these polls.
He does dig. He's clicking all the links.
I want to know. So I'm going to have to go through like hundreds of pages of info to get
you went to California and you sent me some pictures that I'm going to share with everybody.
Yes.
So we've got this thing. What is this little, is this a drone pooper scooper? What is this?
So that little guy right there is
red
a
wagon.
food delivery droid. So
poop ingredients.
No, yes, the beginning of your problem, the beginning of where we're at. But what those do is you order your food from a restaurant. They will put the food in this little cart, and that cart will roll up to your door.
Little drone.
It's
DoorDash.
a little drone DoorDash. Now,
All right.
I saw them kind of sitting around.
That's weird.
I did see one leave a restaurant and come back to a restaurant while we were eating at the restaurant. He parked next to me. There's no sign on them that says you can't pet them. If you want to pet them, you can. So
It's not a service droid.
on Sunday morning, I'm going to get some donuts at a couple blocks from where we're staying. And I'm walking out, and some guy's got a big van, and these things are rolling out of the van, and they're rolling around. Well, that one rolls in front of me to a four-way intersection. He wants to go, I'm assuming it wants to go left, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm going straight.
Mhm.
So it orientates itself to go left, but it can't push the button to cross the street. So if no one pushes the button, it can't cross the street unless it shows the little walk sign. I guess it reads that. If it's not there, it won't go. It just sits there.
Okay.
So I push the button to cross going straight. And I'm like, I wonder if the droid will follow me. Well, the droid followed me across the street and then reoriented itself again to go left. So I started walking away and I thought, I wonder how long this thing will sit here. And then I couldn't do it. The goodness of the nature inside of me, the young man that had been told, if you see an older person walking across the street as a Boy Scout, you help them go across the street.
Yeah.
I turned around, walked back to the crosswalk and hit the button for it so that it could cross the street. And I'm about halfway up the block and I hear it rolling across the street and here it goes across the street. So I have now gone from being told as a little child to help a little old lady across the street to help the droid across the street. So a little
You're a traitor to your race, Mike Davis.
Well, I'm not a droid guy. You know this. I don't like the droids.
I know.
So I'm coming back with my donuts and I'm all happy, right? And this one droid begins to follow me. He's going to some other restaurant or something, right?
Maybe they're just like you.
But he stays a certain distance behind me. So there's some, and if I slowed down, he slowed down. If I sped up, I was just trying to kind of gauge this. And then all of the spy novels that I read came rolling through my mind, right? And I'm like, this is how it ends. They put a bomb inside this little cart.
Yeah.
They send it out there. They roll it up next to you, and then they just hit detonate. Because over top of you is a drone that's letting them know exactly where the other drone is. And I'm like, this is how warfare is going to be next.
I don't like it. Don't like it one bit.
I don't like it at all. I didn't like it at
So Bobby points out, what's to prevent someone from opening up that drone delivery device along its route?
all. It has happened.
People steal
knock
the food.
them over. There's all kinds of videos of this. But it was really
They
interesting.
bully
to
the
see that.
drone.
They robbed the drone. But I'm not sure if it's a rob. It's not a robbery against a human. So do drones have rights?
Well, it is a robbery.
I mean, Isaac Asimov would have something to say about this. There's your Dennis Miller reference for the month.
You got it. You got it.
Somewhere Troy is putting his head in his hands if he's watching right now.
Mhm.
There-
Oh, he's not watching. It's a Monday.
No. No.
Oh, weird. Okay,
Yes.
so there's the argument that they're not robbing the drone, they're robbing the customer.
Mm-hmm.
And if the business has to remake it, then they're not robbing the customer, they're inconveniencing the customer, and they're robbing the business,
Mm-hmm.
the restaurant.
Yes.
Dude, this is stupid.
It was rather interesting to watch. They also have the Wagos out there.
Yeah,
So I did see a car being driven by
a drone.
the robot, and it was really interesting to watch it navigate a very narrow road. We were going in the opposite direction.
Mhm.
No one was in the car driving. It had all these cameras all around it. Hey, if you guys want to live that way, that's fine. Eventually, one day the electricity will go out, and then none of this stuff is going to work.
Like, when you're not allowed to build more electrical facilities because some tiny swallow somewhere or something, and
Mhm.
that might limit your electricity. And also, if you go to renewables before they're ready, and if, we get into some sort of conflict with countries that have all the rare earth metals that are needed for the batteries that you need for the renewables. So, there's lots of ways that this can go bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's electric or
It's
not
electric. All right. So some of the information from this poll,
so.
right?
Uh-huh.
So what is the highest level of education you've attained? So they got 15% of people with postgraduate degrees, which
Oh.
I'm not sure if 15% of the population has a postgraduate degree. College grad was 24%. Associate degree was 26%. Clinical school 9%, and only 26% with a high school diploma. So I can tell you right now that based on the data that I've read over the last years of Trump running, right? This is the third time. People with a higher education level tend to vote Democrat. So you've weighted the poll a little bit by education, not so much the other. Gender-wise, 47% male, 52% female, which again weights it to give you in my opinion, an outcome that's a Democrat outcome.
Yeah.
And then age brackets, it's pretty well evenly bracketed. So everybody's at about 15%. But 16, you've got 18 to 29-year-olds, 16%, 16.4. 70 years or older, 15.9%. So you weighted it for younger people, higher educated people, and you got a 4-point bump.
Yeah.
For Kamala Harris, our vice president. At no point in here do they list the ethnic races were pretty much pretty even.
All right. So in 2022, 14.4% of the U.S. population, 25 and older, had advanced degrees.
How much?
14.4.
So it is about even on that.
So I thought it was 26.
They were at 14,
Post-grad.
Oh, post-grad degrees. Yeah. College graduate was 24. Post-grad was 14.4.
Okay, so that's what we have here.
So they're pretty close to that. So I gotta give them the credit on that. They do have the other one I thought was interesting. We talked about age.
23.5 bachelor's degrees, 10.5 is associate's degrees.
So they asked who you voted for in the last election.
Okay.
47% for Joe Biden, 43% for Donald Trump.
Okay, so they at least weighted it 4 points, and they're saying she's ahead 4 points.
And she's ahead 4 points. So what I'm telling you is when you see a poll, if you look at this information, it's helpful to know that, right? Suburban is 48%, rural 29%, urban 22%. In that case, I would say that poll favors Republicans more than that. But again, if it's suburban people with higher degrees, they tend to be more liberal.
Well, that also depends. So if it's
in some areas,
if it's New England suburbs, then that's all Democrat.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't start getting to red areas of New England until you're rural.
Mm-hmm. This number is not good. If they actually the issue that is ranked most important issue facing the country, 40% said economy, gas, inflation, and taxes. The next number down is
that's not meat and potatoes for Democrats.
17% immigration, 12% threats to democracy.
So
does that include the Democratic primary? Can we count that as a threat to democracy?
That's what drives me crazy. Like, okay, we've got the Democratic Party who've been saying that we have a threat to democracy, and then they completely circumnavigate democracy to get their nominee. Nobody's asking why?
Nobody.
No questions? Nobody's angry? What I did like what RFK Jr. said in his statement.
Mm-hmm.
So he dropped out, I believe, while we were on the air on Thursday.
Yep. No, was he Thursday or Friday? He was Friday.
Was it Friday?
He was Friday. RFK Jr. was Friday.
So
Thursday
he drops out.
Was Beyonce, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. So maybe an A-lister, and all we got was Kamala. So Friday, RFK Jr. drops out. And he says, I'm going to stay on the ballot in blue states. And if you're a Democrat that isn't happy with this progress or this process, then vote for me. And I'm going to pull my name off the ballots in battleground states. I want you to vote for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a beautiful way to send a message.
He got hosed over and never got an opportunity to run.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think Democrats were going to vote for him. Right? I don't think he was going to ever get... But he never had a fair chance, right? And what may have happened is...
There are a lot of moderates that are registered Democrat.
But all of what you saw with Joe Biden, you would have seen 9 months ago. Yeah. That the Trump debate isn't new for Joe Biden.
No.
And so you would have seen that in the very first debate with RFK Jr. and whoever else was up there. And then you would have seen a rush of people to get in that race. And it would have been a horse race between RFK Jr., Gavin Newsom, maybe Gretchen Whitmer throws her name in. Kamala would have had to actually compete rather than being coronated, which is what you do to a king or a queen. You don't make them compete. You just coronate them.
This is exactly what the UK did to get Rishi Sunak as the prime minister. I mean, you have a vote, you don't like the circumstances one way or the other, and then you just install whoever you want to. And they got away with it in the UK. Rishi Sunak is only not the prime minister because he got pressured into having an election, and everyone knew he was going to lose the election, which is why he was trying to not. They don't just have set elections in the UK, which is so weird. They have to just the person in charge has to decide when you're allowed to vote. It's super weird. So he got pressured into announcing an election, which he ended up doing outside at a press conference during a torrential rainstorm, which was the saddest Charlie Brown thing ever because everyone just knew he's going to lose. And he did. And so that's exactly the same, not exactly, it's very close to the set of circumstances that we have here, is that they didn't want RFK Jr. and they really feared that RFK Jr. would trounce Joe Biden if they allowed a legitimate primary process. And it's not a good look for Kamala Harris to primary Joe Biden just to try and keep someone from the ticket in. That wouldn't be a good look because then she can't run on, we've done an amazing job for the past 4 years. So she couldn't primary him just to try and stave off RFK Jr. So they were stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they chose to abandon democracy to save democracy.
I just think they abandoned democracy.
They claim they're trying to save democracy.
I just think they abandoned it.
And they also claim that voting blue no matter who proves they're not a cult.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah.
All right. We got 5 questions.
6 questions.
Which are really 6 questions.
17 questions.
17 questions.
14.4% question.
You know what? The amazing thing is Amanda's going to actually field and answer questions she's never heard of before.
Not true.
Well, you did hear of them before the show. I did Donna Brazilian and give you most of the questions. Not all of them, but most of them. I feel my most
Hillary Clinton.
Yes. Channel your inner Hillary Clinton.
Mike dies. He's never here again after today.
Davey, I think you're okay.
Davey and I are alone tomorrow.
Davey's gonna be okay. I don't think Davey said anything to anger Amanda the way that I have over the years.
I mean, you're all right.
I'm okay. All right. So since I got to meet the new California droids.
Yeah.
Favorite droid ever in TV or movies? Favorite droid ever?
I went through a list of androids, famous androids from movies, because I wanted to get their names right. So I think my favorite one is Johnny Five from Short Circuit.
High-pitched voice.
I
slightly annoying,
I enjoy
but
him.
Slightly funny at the same time.
No, disassemble. You could have a great dance party.
He was kind of the Deadpool of robots. I mean, he was out there. He had his own personality. Yeah, he was kind of the own Deadpool of robots right there.
He's the Ghost in the Machine. He's the embodiment of that as an android.
Okay.
I didn't go with Data because that's too obvious. So I didn't go with Data. I went with Johnny Five, Short Circuit. Honorable mention, the Fix-Its from Batteries Not Included.
I've never seen that.
It's what I remember. So I saw it when I was really little again because I saw it in theaters when it came out. I was very confused when my parents told me what movie we were going to see.
Yep.
But it was a sweet story from what I remember. But the Fix-Its were all these tenants in a rundown building, and then suddenly these droids start fixing things, and they were sweet from my memory.
Okay.
I'm not into scary droids.
Not into scary. I'm not either into scary droids. And I think there's a lot of those coming in our lives in the future, and I'm not into them.
Yeah.
R2-D2 is going to be my favorite. Yeah, I've always loved R2. But with the rockets. The R2-D2 that had the rockets, and then it got taken away because he was misbehaving.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the technology at the time. But the R2-D2, I always kind of liked him.
Which episode was that?
The middle ones, and then the first one's not. But so the other one for me, I got to go all the way back to the robot in Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Because the arms, right? Here's
Bobby.
this robot with all of this technology, and when things go bad, he panics
Warning.
like a seventh grader. Warning, danger, Will Robinson, danger, Will Robinson. So that was, I really like that one. I do like, I will say, I'll give you kind of a Short Circuit. Johnny Five was not a bad one. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Right. Least favorite droid of all time. And I'll lead with this. The droids from whatever that movie was with Huey, they were Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Those are my least favorite droids.
Huey, Dewey,
Silent Spring or whatever the heck of the name of the movie. I can't even remember the name of the movie. It was so bad. So bad.
I've got this big long list here.
Yes.
So I really don't like the droids that in movies that are like trying to pretend to be humans.
Mm-hmm.
Those seriously creep me out. That's why I didn't see the second Blade Runner, because I just don't like the humanoid. I feel like that's coming, and it totally freaks me out. So I'm gonna go with. Let me see. I had one up here. I'm gonna go with Bad Guy Terminator, the liquid metal one.
The liquid metal one from Terminator
like
2 Judgment Day.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't like him.
I thought that was a pretty good one. The best Terminator was it Terminator Salvation or something? Where there was the good Terminator. It was a human being, and they had first put him into the Terminator into him, and I can't think of who the actor was, but that was a really good one. I liked him.
Yeah.
They actually saved Kyle Reese. He was getting ready to get terminated, and the guy went in and saved them, and he actually fought Arnold. That was one of the better ones. So
yeah.
C-3PO is one of the most annoying droids ever.
Yeah. The only thing that that gives C-3PO the like not the most annoying in Star Wars is Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks was horrible.
My favorite conspiracy theory is that Jar Jar Binks was just playing dumb. He was actually a Sith Lord.
I just remember there was a whole movement of Jar Jar must die. It was the thing. So. Yeah. C-3PO, the best scene with C-3PO is where they Han Solo tells him, never tell me the odds.
Question, the 3 booby lady in Total Recall, was she a droid? She's a fortune teller, wasn't she?
I think that was actually a mutant, because that whole area in Total Recall was mutants. So not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it all comes down to placement.
If you were a 3-handed person, it's probably perfect for you.
No, like placement. It depends on where it's placed.
It was right between the other two.
I know.
It was right between the other two.
That's terrible placement, because ends motorboats forever. But if you have boob on back of shoulder and then you have extra boob, it depends on placement.
That's funny.
That's my argument.
All right. All right. We talked about, have you ever helped a droid? I actually helped a droid cross the street this week.
Yes.
So I really feel like, I wonder if there's a merit badge for that. I'm just curious. Is there still a merit badge for Boy Scouts?
Of your race.
Yes.
There it is. You betrayed
So what you're
your
saying
race.
is I should have pushed him out in front of traffic.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
What? Then he would come and kill you first.
You know what I did, though? I hit the button. I said, tell one of your droid buddies that takes pictures of people speeding in California to erase my image. It was a deal I made with them to be able to run lights.
Yeah, malfunction or, seagull.
Yes.
You just need that seagull to come in just at the perfect moment.
I was negotiating. All right, so have you
helped
ever
a droid?
Yes.
I have a Roomba vacuum cleaner. So yes, I've helped a droid because I've had to usher her to where she's supposed to go.
Yes.
And then I get the little warning, because we all have a lot of hair in my family.
Mm-hmm.
Get the warning, you have to flip her over. You got to clean out the undercarriage.
Okay.
Yep. Little waxing.
Brazilian?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just
she has an accent.
All right. What's her name?
Rosanna Dana.
Rosanna Dana. Okay. All right.
I had a Rosie. She died because too much hair and not enough cleaning. So Rosie lives on in Rosanna Dana.
Okay. Monday is Labor Day. Mm-hmm. It is hard to believe, and we're off on Labor Day. We're not going to be working on Monday.
No show on Monday.
So no show on Monday, right? Worst employment job you ever had. I asked
That
this
is not
question
how he phrased it.
I had it a different way before the show.
Yeah. He's like, worst
But
job you ever did.
My sophomoric co-host brought it to my attention. That was a horrible way to phrase
So he rephrased.
that. So, yes.
Your worst employment
job you ever had.
did. I've typically enjoyed my jobs. So let's see. Probably sampling meat just because everyone treats you like you're beneath them. So I was the boar's head lady.
Okay.
And I would offer samples.
Okay.
And so you're an independent contractor at that. So I guess that counts as employment. But like the people at the deli don't want you there because you're making extra work for them.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that don't want to cut a lot of meat don't want you there because they have to cut meat for you. And then everyone wants what you're selling. And so then they know that's whatever you're asking for, that's what they're going to have to cut 1,000 times. So I would come in and I'd be like, so I want to sample this, this, and this. And they'd be like, sometimes they'd be like, no, I don't have enough of that. So you're going to have to pick something else to sample.
Something else up.
And so, yeah, but people just treat you like you're garbage. Like the people behind the counter don't like you. The like hungry people like you, but everybody else just kind of looks at you like you're beneath them.
The worst job I think I ever had. And it didn't seem like it was going to be that bad of a job. My uncle had 4 dogs, and he would hire all of his nephews to clean out the dog pen. And you're like, oh, this is an easy amount of money.
Yeah.
But those 4 dogs, I don't know what he was feeding them. It was a steady diet of refried beans. I'm just telling you. It was a lot of cleaning up to do. Because before you had poop bags and all that other stuff, so you had to spray it all down. It was, and then you turn around and look, and there'd be a mess right behind where you cleaned up. It's like, come on, guys. Work with me here just a little bit. So that was probably the worst job that I ever had, was that.
Too much of that beautiful
That was
bean
one
footage.
of the first in my own family job that I had to do. And I was like, this is just not good. All right. Best employment job you ever had. Well, I had to watch how I phrased that one.
I mean, obviously this one, but like the second would probably be dolphin trainer because you get to play with dolphins. And you get to talk to people about dolphins.
I'm going to go to the best job I ever had was being a dad.
Oh my
See, I win that one. I got you.
That's not fair because you don't get paid to be a dad. And if I couldn't make any inappropriate job jokes, you don't get paid to be a dad. So nope, you have to give a different answer, sir.
I love the job that I have right now at AD Davis Construction. I enjoy. I worked really hard to be the boss, and I enjoy being the boss. Nice. I really enjoy that job a lot.
The worst poop job I ever had to do was when I was an intern. I had to clean out a protein skimmer for
dolphins.
For seals and sea lions, and that's nasty. It's basically a giant colon because the protein that they're getting rid of is their poop and their hair and the scales from the fish. Those are all proteins that are getting skimmed off by the protein skimmer, and so it's essentially a giant colon. It was about 10 feet tall.
Yes.
And I had to put those birthing gloves, those cow birthing gloves that go up to your shoulder. And I had to stick my arm down it was the top of it. So it was a plastic anus. And I had to scrape out handfuls of what had gotten stuck at the top.
I hope some of you aren't planning on eating dinner in the next 10 minutes.
I was unpaid for that, though.
I wouldn't have done it. One job I wouldn't have done.
I got quite a reference letter.
All right. Monday is Labor Day. Favorite Labor Day activity? Favorite Labor Day activity that you're allowed to say on the air, Amanda?
All right. I had my due date with my 3rd child was on Labor Day. But she was late, so it wasn't giving birth. But I got to spend an entire pregnancy with people joking about, you're due on Labor Day. So not that one. My favorite activity on Labor Day, I would say sleep in, but it's a Monday and our community days are on Monday, so I never get to sleep in. I'll just say hanging out with my kids.
Oh, you're not allowed to say that. That's too sad. I'm just kidding.
You are the one that put the qualifier on job, not me.
My favorite Labor Day activity is one that all of us in St. Augustine have done more than we care to do.
Roll the cannonballs down the bridge?
Dodging hurricanes.
Oh, okay.
Usually there's always a hurricane out there around Labor Day, and you're like, is that coming this way or not coming that way? So, yes.
Hysterectomy, Keely. No longer have to worry about that.
Yeah, you know what? You guys are having way too much fun in the comments today, and I love it. All right. Tomorrow, Davey will be here. The end of the month movie review, Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Which should have won multiple Academy Awards. And so we've got that. And it's going to be a great rest of the week. We got all kinds of fun things going on. And I still want to do a little bit of the trivia that you threw at the boys on Thursday. I will not go back and watch the show.
We can do a special edition of trivia on Tuesday with you and Davey.
I want to see how Davey does it, but I think Davey may have watched the show.
He's got spin class. He didn't watch it.
Okay. All right, cool. Davey, don't watch the show from Thursday, Davey. All right, we'll see you guys. Tune in tomorrow morning when everything you want to know is on that show that's on in the morning.
And then catch the afternoon show.
Yes, that goes too. We'll see you guys.
Bye.